Hello.
Aloha, everyone.
Hi,
Aloha,
everyone.
everyone.
Happy Tuesday. And welcome back to another Talk Story Tuesday. Um, we're again joined with our lovely and amazing outreach coordinator, Ala Talo, and our incredible and, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, inspirational childbirth facilitator, Dr. Tara Lawal.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's been fun. Like, we've been getting to know each other more and more every week because we're doing the childbirth ed class together. We've done a couple of Zooms together or lives. So, thank you. Thank you for creating this fun space to talk about all of our questions.
Yeah, and for some of those who may be new to the live, so month of the each month we want to try and bring the class to you. For those that may not live in King County or may live out of state, we want to make sure that you have that wealth of knowledge ready for you during your pregnancy. And so, just a little promotion, we also have a 6-week childbirth education class taught by our wonderful childbirth facilitator, Tara Lawal. And so, today we're going to be covering one of the topics we had during last month's class. Yeah. And so today we're going to talk about eating healthy during your pregnancy.
So, Gabby, how did this come about? Like, were you getting a lot of questions? Like, what happened that you're like, ooh, let's talk about food again?
I don't know. I feel like for me, whenever I ask my aunts or my cousins who are pregnant, all they tell me is about the things that they craved or the things that made them like sick and not too well, like those midnight cravings or those weird, I don't know, peanut butter and pickles or I don't know, maybe, yeah, some things like that.
Okay. Right on.
I
Um,
think it's a fun topic because we are islanders and we love to eat. So it's culturally, it's something about us. So I think it's going to be an amazing topic to cover because especially if you're pregnant and you're craving all those food, I think it's culturally it is in us, like because we love to eat, we
yeah.
love food.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it like interesting when you're pregnant? You're like, oh, I can just let my stomach go. I don't have to suck it in, and it's okay. And you just like, I can eat what I want to eat today. And it's like, oh, you only have this small window of time. You're like, oh, I could just relax and eat. Um, and the thing is, we hear, oh, you're eating for two now, so it's okay, have some more food. But um, there's some guidelines, right? And we don't ever talk about it. And there's some things like that we, just love to do. Because here's the thing, just like you said, we're islanders and we gather around food. We all come whenever we go somewhere, everybody brings a plate or they bring food to share. You don't have a lot of control over what you're going to eat that day because it's just everybody just brings food. And I was pregnant, living for half of my pregnancy, I had to live with my family. And I also was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. And there was no salad. Like, there was no, just, there was carbs, it was rice, it was sugar, there was fruit. There was so many things, and all of it is like tempting, right? And you're like, but this is my comfort food, right? Just meat and rice and salad, potato salad, mac salad. Like, that's all I was craving. I craved. This is how I knew I was hungry. My brother makes the best barbecue ribs, and I didn't realize how hungry I was until he brought some over, and then I ate it, and I'm like, I haven't eaten in so long, and I just forgot, like, there's some comfort foods that you have, and it's like, when you're pregnant, all your senses are completely um, overwhelmed and your senses are heightened. And so eating is an experience when you're pregnant because it's like there's smell. If your nose is telling you this is good, it is not only good, it's really good, right? And then your taste, you know what tastes really good. And then this is why we have cravings is because our our body is like we are so heightened that when you do have that one thing that works, you just have to have it.
Mhm.
And sometimes you have to have it in the middle of the night or you have to have it first thing in the morning. And those are things that one we've never experienced before because we've never had this many hormones in our body before. We haven't had this much say of what I can and cannot do. And so that's just something that's I've cravings are something that's just so fascinating in pregnancy. Allah, I always ask you this question, but I just like to like, you had some interesting cravings when you were pregnant.
Yeah.
Do you want to share like why you felt that way? What was going on? What was your craving?
I have no idea what was it, but I know that I'm allergic to squid. I am allergic to squid because if I eat it, then my body will be swelling up, and
Yeah.
then I have to take Benadryl for it. But I remember when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, I craved squid in coconut milk, and someone you know fixed it in a way that it's so delicious. So it's called fai'aife'e in our native tongue, and I was so crazy about that. And I did not care the consequence of my, body and my face all swell up.
Yeah.
It's just that that's what I was craving.
Yeah.
But also, I was one of those crazy ladies that would eat soap. Like I would scratch it with my fingers and then just, eat it, like that. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is, but I
It
was
was
one of
the
those.
Irish Spring soap. Is that the one?
Oh, I love that. The smell, everything about it.
Oh my goodness.
So you started eating it.
I started like scratching it with my hands and then, eat it, as it was in my fingernails. I don't know for what reason, but I don't know if there's any women out there that went through the same thing.
Yeah.
But I know that I was really anemic.
Mhm.
When I was pregnant for all my four kids, I was really anemic.
Yeah. And that's one of the things like when you're craving like soap or sand or clay or chalk, that's another one people will crave chalk. It's because they have some sort of deficiency that's going on in their body. And
Mm.
so if you are craving like things in your family, like, what is that? Like, why are you eating sand? Like, this is something you should tell your doctor, tell your midwife, like, hey, I'm having some weird cravings that my family's making fun of me. Peanut butter and pickles, like, that's normal. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
putting these weird combos together, only pregnant people understand that. And it changes for each pregnancy. So, you just have to you have to go with what's going on. Um,
Mhm.
so there are ways your body is telling you something, and this is what I really want to emphasize. When you are pregnant, you really have to learn to listen to your body. You have to learn to listen what it's telling you. Listen to, what you hear, what you're smelling. Your nose is your guide. If it smells good to you, it's going to be good. If it's not, walk away. If you can't do curry or there's like different things. I remember my sister-in-law could not do curry. And so you just have to let that be your guide. And then the other thing, others, yeah, hi Clara. Clara said some people like soap and others like kerosene.
Yeah.
Hey, that one can also be very dangerous. So when you're having these kind of um, cravings, let your midwife or your doctor know that you're like, I've been sniffing gas and it makes me feel good because there's something happening. Okay, so we could either do a blood draw, they could check your blood pressure, see if there's something outside that is happening that's affecting your body to crave some of these things. Something that one of the midwives always says is if you crave cheese and you crave dairy, what does that mean? And she said it means your body is just hungry, like you're actually hungry. Because the diets that we're being told to do when you're pregnant, they say have a colorful plate and eat a lot of vegetables and eat a lot of protein and fruit. But sometimes you eat, but then you just don't feel full. And if what somebody said is if you are craving dairy, it actually means your body's hungry and you need to eat more food more often. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, how do I learn all these things? What are the ways that I can kind of get better at what do I eat and how do I work towards this? There's a couple books that I really like that I wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
Let's see. I downloaded it. But then I realized I can't get to it. Okay. It's called Real Food for Pregnancy. And then I don't know if you can share this, but it's Lily Nichols, and it's her book, and it's about the science and wisdom of optimal prenatal nutrition. It actually takes more than just eating the food pyramid or the My Plate, but it's why are you choosing certain foods to eat and what kind of foods are more helpful for you. And here's the thing, we're here in America, so we have to be careful of the foods that we eat that are so different from our natural foods from the islands, right? Like when you're living at home, I always think like my grandma. My grandma I actually talked to my mom the other night about this. I said, what did grandma eat when she was pregnant? Because she had 13 children, all born at home, with her and my grandpa and her grandma, our tutu mama came to deliver the babies. What did she do? And my mom said, she just ate poi and fish. That's it. Like they would eat whatever they caught, and they would eat the taro and the food from the garden. Like she was very whole and healthy. She lived a long life into her 80s. She had 13 children, over 100 grandchildren, I think she died with over 200 great grandchildren.
Oh my gosh.
So my family gatherings were always so fun on my Hyola side. Even now, to this day, it's still fun. And we always think of our grandma and her singing and her dancing. But the one thing she left behind is having strong pregnancies. And that's something my mom, she passed that down. My mom had very strong pregnancies. She was very, she could read her body. She knew what she needed and knew how to help herself. And so it's like, okay, I did not have a strong pregnancy. So somewhere along the line where we moved to the United States, like from when leaving the islands and coming to the mainland, within one generation, it all broke down. All of the strong, healthy, like my grandma could have a baby and go back to work in the fields that day, right? Like that's the strong pregnancy I'm talking about, a strong body. But here, from the mainland, what did I grow up on? I grew up on Kool-Aid and, rice that was imported, sugar that's imported. The flour is so different. And so now we're eating different kinds of foods that go against the natural body of what we're supposed to be eating, about the natural island life. And so that's something that, you come to Seattle and you're like, oh, I'm in one of the richest cities in America. King County is the richest county in all of the US, right? We have the tech industry, we have amazing top of the line hospitals that you can go to. But for some reason, for families of color and for new immigrants coming here, within one generation, we are seeing outcomes. We're seeing our bodies are changing. And it could be the food, it could be the stress, it could be the systemic racism that we've never seen before. You're now the minority among everybody around you, where before in the islands, like we all looked alike, we all talked the same, we all eat the same, we all, there's, and then you come here, or now you're different.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it in our health outcomes. And with the new data that came out this year, they did, every 3 years, they run data on the women who died in pregnancy and babies who are dying in the first year. And the data has not changed. It's stayed the same. Black women die 3 to 4 times more than their white counterparts. So let me just say that in percentages. Black women die about 75% more than white women. Okay, so here's white women, Black women are about here. Then we have Pacific Islanders, and this is all Washington State, okay? They are dying at a rate of 85%. So it's even more. And then the one that just continues to blow my mind is our Indigenous sisters are dying at a rate of 240%. What is happening between all of us? The only thing that we know is that it's the color of our skin, the experiences of our lives, the trauma that comes with us, what we know and what's going on. And somehow that is affecting our pregnant bodies and it's affecting our babies. And so when you think about this, that's why we're doing the work we're doing, Gabby. That's why the county gave us funding and saying, hey, we need to tell this to everybody. People need to know that just because you're here, you are actually at higher risk to have a C-section. Just because you chose to have your baby here in the United States, your baby has a higher chance of going to the NICU. You actually have a higher chance of having big babies because you live here in the United States, in Washington, in King County. So, then it starts to realize, okay, what is the one thing I can control in my pregnancy? And that's what we do with our body. The way we move our body, the way we sleep, the way we take care of our body, how we eat, how we, protect ourselves both physically and mentally. What can we do to protect ourselves? So those are some of the thoughts that I've had in my head. I've been really thinking about this class and really thinking about, the conversations that we've been having over the last 6 weeks have been really interesting because these are all things that are preventable. And when we looked at the numbers for those people who are dying at 75%, 85%, 240%, most of those deaths were preventable. We could have fixed this. We could have met with them earlier. We could have done something earlier on to prevent this. So here we are, Gabby. This is why we do this work. This is why we show up every week, because we just don't know. And there's no one to ask these questions to. So I just want to go through the questions. Is that okay? Like, Gabby gathered some questions. Where did these questions come from?
Yes. So a lot of the brainstorming questions that we had came from the childbirth classes. These were the questions that the moms either had curiosities about, and again, speaking on experience about um, Ala and Tara's pregnancies, and even for myself as somebody who hasn't had the opportunity to be blessed with a child yet, but it was really surprising to to know this information. And so again, today we're going to talk about the questions. And so the first question was, what are some of the foods we crave, and why is it important to watch our diet?
Okay. Um, so like I said, if you crave cheese, dairy, milk, ice cream, there's something else going on that your body is probably hungry. There's probably other ways that you could help fill your need. Um, and then so it's really interesting. So I don't want you to discount whenever you have a craving, but I really want you to either write it down on a journal or keep track in your phone. Like this week, I just really wanted tuna fish. I don't know why, but I just like had to go, and I went through 6 cans of tuna fish. Okay, if that happens, make sure you make a note and tell your midwife like I ate a lot of canned fish this week. That is gonna put an alert to your midwife. Okay, one, there's a lot of mercury in canned fish. What kind of canned fish did you have? And so there's some ways that those are some things that trigger us to start thinking, okay, what is happening? What actually are things that are doing it? Um, then you said, what are some ways from foods that we crave, but also why is it important for us to watch what we eat? Um, I am not a huge proponent of keeping track of your weight gain in pregnancy. Some people do, and if that's something that's important to you, take a take a weight, your pre-pregnancy weight, and then I don't track every single month or every single visit how much people weigh. But if that is important to you, that's one way you could do it. What I really like to track is how does food make you feel?
Mm.
Okay. So it's when you wake up, how refreshed are you? When you wake up first thing in the morning, can you just jump out of bed and be like, okay, I'm gonna have a great day today. I have a whole lot of listings. Here's a ton of things on my list that I need to get done. I gotta get up, get ready for work, and you're happy to get up and go to work. Is that like is that tells me a lot. Oh, okay, they're probably eating a good diet. They're probably having some healthy food that sustains them through the night. Because you grow a baby at night, okay? You grow your baby while you're sleeping. Your baby grows in their sleep. So I always ask that question. I always think about like, okay, how did you wake up this morning? Okay, I was really groggy this morning. It took me a long time. I had to cuddle my baby, my older kids. They all came into the bed. I'm like thinking about this is literally my morning this morning. He didn't want to get out of bed, so we had to like sit there for like 45 minutes and hold him and read and wake ourselves up. So it's like, okay, what is happening? What did we have for dinner last night? Oh yeah, like it was all pasta. Okay, yeah. Did we have a lot of vegetables? Probably not. So you start thinking, how much water did I drink? Oh, yeah, I probably didn't drink that much. I woke up with a headache. You'll hear that with pregnant people a lot. They wake up with a headache. And they're like, did you take any Tylenol or anything? Like, no, I don't do that. I like to just drink water and then it goes away.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have to take a nap and then it goes away. So it's like, how are you actually feeling can kind of tell you what's going on with your body.
Yes. And I don't know, I think it kind of touches back on to like when you mentioned in the class and even a while back the foods that you crave and that aren't really food. It's kind of your body saying, okay, um, this is something that I'm lacking.
Mhm.
Like if you crave soap that you're lacking a certain nutrient or certain vitamin,
Mhm.
um, And I guess what are some ways that moms can be better prepared and like understand these things?
The real trick is how do I get the right balance of food, nutrients, and these macronutrients? How do I actually get the right balance of those? And here's something that I'll just throw out, and this is what we tell all of our pregnant people, is there's a balance that you want to use with protein, water, and salt. Okay, I know it seems really simple, but everybody eats these things. Everybody eats protein, and it doesn't matter. Um, what really matters is it doesn't matter the recipe of what you eat, but are you getting enough protein in your body? And so some of the protein, our goal is to get you to have at least 90 grams of protein a day. So that is like this much chicken, like a handful of chicken, 2 eggs in the morning. Like it's actually kind of a lot of protein to the point where a lot of people have to supplement and add a protein shake because we really do want you to have what we're trying to do is you're growing your muscles, your blood, you have to grow your blood, you have to grow your blood volume so that it can pump to baby. And so there's these things that we have to do. So growing, protein is something that can do that. The other thing that's important is water. Super important to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, that means you have to drink 100 ounces of water. Okay, look, what is this? This is mine. This is just a Gatorade. 20 ounces right here. 5 of these a day. That's a lot, right? So it's like, so you have to drink. You have to stay hydrated. You have to move your body, and so they all work together. The other good thing that we actually say is to salt your foods, but it's important to kind of salt, not the Morton salt, like not the white table salt. We want the really good, high quality Himalayan, Hawaiian salt, the ones that you have to grind, the kind that you can't see through. That is actually good for your body. That's where we get the micronutrients that actually get food into your cells of your body, right? So we're trying to build our blood. We really have to promote our body because our blood is going to double. Our volume of our blood doubles throughout your pregnancy, and then it has to create this placenta. It's just this amazing organ that you create a placenta that's connected to this little baby, and then feeds your baby, right? And then the more this placenta grows, it pulls all of your nutrients. It's pulling everything from you. And so you have to really build yourself up with the right kinds of protein, water, and then vegetables. And this is where the other thing is like to really monitor your iron levels. And this is why I ask about how do you feel, especially when you wake up. If you don't feel rested when you wake up, but you still feel groggy and tired, it could be an iron issue. I don't know, Allah, do you remember what it felt like when you have low iron? You said you were anemic. What did that feel like?
I was always tired.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I wake up in the morning, I was always tired.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. It takes forever for me to get out of bed, and then it felt like I haven't slept the whole night. I was and my body was tired.
Something you can do, and I don't know if I can see it here, it's so gross, but you can go in the mirror and pull down and look inside the flesh of your eye. And sorry, I have too much eye makeup on. But when you look down, if it's nice and pink, like have your kids pull their eye down and you'll see, oh, it's nice and pink. But if somebody who has low iron, it's actually white like
Wow.
paper. And then they'll say, I am groggy, I'm tired, I can't focus, I just feel like there's like fog. That that could be, one of the low iron. It could also be low vitamin D. Here in Washington, today is not a vitamin D day, right? So now we're getting to this point. You guys, it's August or October. We are not going to see the sun until July. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May,
Oh,
June,
no.
10 months, y'all. We won't see the sun again. And so it's like, this is the time where you really have to think about what's going on in your body. What are you taking in? So if you're craving dairy, then do the vitamin D milk, right? Get some vitamin D in there. Um, try to do things that if you can go outside, go outside. But take a vitamin D supplement. You want to take folic acid supplements, right? There's your prenatal vitamin. So make sure that you're taking what you're supposed to take. Calcium is always good. And some people have to be on an iron supplement. So really talk to your doctor and your midwife. There's a really good iron that I like. It's that is a liquid form. And so there's sometimes if you have to take an iron pill, it causes constipation. And you're already constipated because pregnancy just causes everything in your digestive system to slow down. So that's why we get a lot of constipation when we're pregnant. So, watch what you're bringing into your body so to make sure that you stay regular. Which is also the reason why the 100 ounces of water is so important because that will help to keep your body moving. You want to pee naturally throughout the day because that takes away all the toxins in your body. And then you want to go poop. And you want to have nice formed poop. You don't want to push very hard. You don't want to, and it's hard to find the right balance. But if you don't have good poop during your pregnancy, it's something's up with the foods, food that you're eating. And so, some of the ways, I don't know, I'm going to go way too personal, but what were some foods like that help you to stay regular?
Um, Let me think back. I didn't eat a lot of culture food. At that time, I wasn't, um, fond of our regular Samoan food like taro. So I
Yeah.
didn't crave any of that.
Yeah,
So,
me
but
too.
I was so, um, like regularly, rice was like something that I eat regularly when I was pregnant. And then it was weird. And then bread.
Bread. Yeah. Yeah. Um, let's see. So another thing that can help you stay regular is drinking or eating prunes or dates. It has a lot of sugar, so you got to be careful. But fiber, so apples. Sometimes oatmeal people like that, but it's just the more fiber you have, that can help collect, your stool and get it to a nice consistency. Applesauce, apple juice, pear juice. But the thing is, it's like, oh, when you drink juice, you have to be careful because there's a lot of sugar. And with fruit, there's a lot of sugar. Somebody asked the question, do you have any recommendations for those with diabetes during pregnancy? Here's what I'm going to tell you. And it's hard, but it's worth it. My doctor told me this. I was with a midwife, and then I knew I had already had diabetes before pregnancy. So we just had to plan it before. Um, so I knew I couldn't have a home birth. So I had to plan my birth with the doctor and the midwife. So I created this system where the midwife came with me to do my doctor's appointments, and my midwife was in charge of all of my care until she couldn't be in charge until I had to like take insulin or take, I was on metformin. So um, something that my doctor told me, and she said, Tara, I really want you to have a full-term baby, but it's going to be really hard because if you already have diabetes now, it's hard to get your baby to full term, which is 37 weeks. So she said, I need you to have perfect sugars. And I was like, okay. And I hate like monitoring myself. I don't like going on a scale. Now I have to like poke myself every day. And not only one time a day, like you poke yourself when you first wake up and you're fasting, but then you have to poke yourself right before you eat a meal. And then you eat your meal and you have to eat your meal within 5 minutes because they don't want you to. Anyways, then you have to take your blood sugar again an hour later to see what is happening. So you actually have to learn the trends of your body. What is your body doing and how does it react to sugar? And is your pancreas going to spit out enough insulin that will help moderate the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs? And then here's the cool thing, food actually is medicine. And I'll say it over and over, the food that you use will heal your body or it could harm your body, depending on how you use it. So when you're diabetic, you have to eat more food and you have to eat more often, but they're just smaller. And you can't just let yourself get completely depleted. You can't have an empty stomach. Because that could really get your pancreas to push out too much, um, insulin, and then your when you have sugar, you actually tank because your body gave you too much, and so then there's this natural. We have to figure out how do I get a natural rhythm to keep my blood sugars normal. So the goal is.
Good to know.
Is it? I don't know. Like we have so many of our family members that are living with diabetes, right? And we still tell them, "Hey, come eat," and we bring food. And what do we bring? Rice, fruit, the sugary cakes and cookies, and we still have that soda, the big one, right? So it's like, even though we all know half the family here has diabetes, how do we actually create foods that can help support that? If we start thinking that food is medicine, then we can actually use our food to keep our blood sugars stable. And that's the goal, is to have food keep us stable instead of medicine every day.
Yeah.
And now they're throwing so much medicine at you. If you have diabetes, they'll say, "Oh, why don't we give you Ozempic? That will curb all your cravings for a whole week, and it's just once a week. Let's give you metformin, and metformin is something that you can take every day, and that will keep your blood sugar low. That's the miracle drug." And then they're like, "Oh, let's add Jardiance, and let's add this one, and we'll add another one. And then when you're about to eat, we're going to start doing insulin." So if you want to eat your sugar, you want to eat a pie, especially Thanksgiving's coming up. Like there's all this pie, pumpkin, just all you have to do is just add another, do a shot right before you eat dinner. So now we're using medicine as food, right? You're taking so many pills to try to keep your body stable. But what if we did it the opposite way? What if we actually use food to keep us stable and keep our sugars stable? And there's different ways you can trick your body, but I'm telling you, protein, water, and a little bit of salt is what will help you to keep your blood sugar stable. And so if you do have diabetes, Gabby, I feel like we have to have like a separate show or a separate group, because I would love to do this in a group of like, how can we manage our pre-diabetes? Like maybe we do a group of people who are pre-diabetic. If you have family members who have diabetes, if you're like in your 30s and you're like, I might get diabetes by the time I'm 40, or I'm in my 20s, and now y'all, we are diagnosing children with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, in their teenage years. And there are kids, these are PI kids that are getting diagnosed this early. So it's like, okay, what happened when their mom was pregnant? What were some of the things that they were told? Because here we go. You have a mom who's pregnant and their baby is swimming in all of this glucose and sugar. It all goes to baby. It goes into the amniotic fluid. It comes through their blood, through the placenta. So now we have babies that are being born a lot bigger, right? So that's what we're at highest risk for. If we have gestational diabetes, we are at risk to grow big babies. These 10-pounder babies, 11-pound babies, they are going to be at higher risk for gestational diabetes if their mom, or for diabetes if their mom had gestational diabetes. And you know what's interesting about gestational diabetes? It's a crystal ball. Okay? If you're diagnosed with gestational diabetes, it means within the next 10 years you are at high risk to develop diabetes in your life. So, because once you have baby, your blood sugar is normalized and you get back to normal. But by the time you're 40 and you're no longer having kids, most likely you'll have diabetes. And then the thing that just tacks on to diabetes is your heart health. Right? And so many people that have a family history of diabetes in their family also has a family history of heart disease, heart attack, high blood pressure. And so all of this it all works together. We also know that if mom has gestational diabetes, these babies are at higher risk of diabetes.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so this is how we are passing along our trauma to our children. So how do we heal this? And I'll be honest, y'all, I feel the guilt all the time. When my son is like, Mom, I just want to go to McDonald's, and I'm like, oh, did I create that? Did I do that? Like, you know, there's guilt. Like, we already guilt ourselves for everything, but food is something that, you know, we as women have really, you know, there's a lot of emotion tied to the food.
And like
Well,
you,
this is really good information, Sarah. You know what? I was always suspicious, like, if what I'm eating when I was pregnant affected my baby, and you just answered that. Yeah, our the food intake that we do will affect our babies.
Yeah.
So that's really great information to know.
yeah. And it's kind of like what you mentioned. In our culture, we're surrounded by good food and we're surrounded by great hospitality. And it's like, how do you balance between culture and like taking care of your baby and taking care of you? And it's, having that balance is just really difficult to master.
Do you realize if you go to a gathering and you're pregnant, people pity on you? Like, come on, eat some more. You're small. Like, what are you doing to yourself? Why are you starving yourself? Eat some more. They actually pity us when we're pregnant and we're not eating at any gathering. If you're eating for two, it's like that's when the time that they like advertise food. Like, if you don't eat, you're not an islander.
You know, and we do it to ourselves, right? Like, it's women doing it to women. Why? Why do we do this?
It's such a kind thing, but it's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I know. And
And
then
you do not have, especially if you're at your in-laws, and you do not have the nerve to say, no, it's not good for me, because that's when they say, what's wrong with you? You're an islander. Eat up. You're eating for two. Like, or this is the favorite line. Where's your food going? Like, and then you wanted to make a peace, and you wanted to please everybody, and then you force yourself to eat.
Yeah. And then we ask you, how did you feel this next morning? And you're like, I can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something I I kind of ignored being pregnant. I had a really early pregnancy was really easy. Like I was emotional, but you get to a point when you're like second trimester around 16 weeks to 30 weeks where you're comfortable, baby's not too big, your belly's not that big, and you literally forget you're pregnant. And then there's this moment around 32 weeks. Your belly is popped, your buttons don't fit anymore. Now at 32 weeks, that's when I'm like, everybody needs a belly band. Like you have to wear, you need support for your back and your belly. And that's when it's like, oh, that's when it gets real. Like that's when it's like heavy. Your belly is heavy. Your burdens feel heavy.
Mhm.
And so it's just like sometimes I don't know, I don't even know how to say it. How do we protect ourselves? How do we protect, our pregnant people? Like when you're pregnant, how do we protect you during this time?
Mhm. I mean, like you said, prevention is key. Like the information that we're sharing, we hope and we pray that you utilize this information and pass it on to the next person, or say, when I was pregnant, or this, that, and the third, this is what I did and what I avoided.
I think the
So,
more
I mean,
conversations I think the more conversations we have as well, like these talk stories that we do to remind our community, like don't be so too hard on, our women when they are in gatherings and you're there. Don't be too hard on forcing them to eat because you never know what's going on with them medically, physically, and then also emotionally. So I think having these conversations will bring some light into, our culture and also, to, empower our women.
Yeah.
mhm.
So, what is a good amount of weight gain that is healthy for a
Yeah.
woman? Because
Yeah.
I know you said that you're not heavy on that, but still it's something that we need to touch on. Like,
Yeah.
what is a good healthy weight gain for any women to have when they're pregnant? And I know everybody is different.
Yeah, so well, it depends on your body. So that's one thing. I don't want you to compare yourself to other people, but go go trimester by trimester. The first trimester, it is so hard to keep food down. A lot of people they just they have really bad food aversions. It smells bad. They're throwing up. They're really it's just hard to be pregnant. And sometimes you don't even know you're pregnant. Actually, many of the people in her group were like, I didn't find out I was pregnant until like 20 weeks. And so that's the thing. Like that first trimester, you get a free pass to eat whatever you need to eat to stay healthy and to get something inside of your body. The next trimester, like I said, second trimester, you forget you're pregnant. You're like, oh, I feel good now. I can breathe. I feel like I can eat anything. And so that's the scary one where you're like, oh, I forgot I was pregnant. Um, so this is where people gain, around 10 to 15 pounds during that trimester. And then the dangerous part is at the end, right? When you're at like 35 to 40, the last month of pregnancy, this is where you're actually bulking up your baby. So all the food at the end of your pregnancy that you eat is going straight to baby. It's that brown fat. Like we want the chunky babies, right? That are so cute. But that's where it's really careful that we need to be really careful with the cookies and the sugar and the bread because those kind of ice cream and donuts, that was like my nephews, because they knew my goal was to have perfect sugars, and they know like I love ice cream and I love donuts, and I didn't have any my whole pregnancy. and they would be like, Auntie, their one line, for the love of your unborn child, you have to be like, put that donut down. Auntie, you don't need that cookie. For the love of your unborn child. We all live together. And I couldn't regulate the food that's coming in and out of the house. I couldn't have just salad all the time. I lived in a big family with, island family where we had rice and cookies and snacks and chips and soda. And for me to have perfect sugars took everything inside of me to not eat and to trick my mind, right? I had to have protein shakes, and I that was the one thing that I ended up craving and needed morning and night was the chocolate protein shake. And what I would do, there's a good one called Orgain. My midwife taught me this one. So it's called Orgain. It's actually made out of New Zealand, and it's organic milk that they use. And it's at Costco, and you can do the powder or you can do the shake. Now, I still drink it in the morning. It's a shake. And I would put it on ice and a scoop of peanut butter, and that was 30 grams of protein. And that was my treat first thing in the morning. And then towards the end of my pregnancy, I needed to eat it at night too, because that got me through the night. And I would wake up with low sugars. And so if I would do it, or if I did the protein shake in the morning at night, then my sugar wouldn't be too low. It'd actually be just fine. And so there's different tricks that you can learn to help your body stay regulated. I don't know why I was going that way, but to throw that in there. But 30 pounds, 40 pounds, that's healthy, but it'll happen second trimester and then at the end. So a way for you to help regulate that is to walk every day. Have it your goal that you're going to walk. One thing I liked was going to the pool, and I would just work out with the old ladies, and they had a water aerobics. And what I liked about it is that you wore a belt, or you could wear the floaties on your feet, the weights. And then it was weightless, right? And so I'd just go out in the 12-foot and that's how I would move my body every day. I'd go probably 3 or 4 times a week. And then every day it's just do something to get out, get outside and move your body. And I'll be honest, when I was pregnant, that was the healthiest I've ever been in my life. I think the added pressure or motivation that I'm growing a baby really made me feel guilty or motivated. I don't know, either way, that I wanted to make sure that my baby was going to be healthy. I was really afraid that I would have him early, and I was afraid that I would have to have a C-section. And I followed that. It's true. I was afraid, and both of those things happened. But I was prepared for those things. And so food is really personal, right? Our relationship with the way we eat and our foods, and the culture and the pressure around our culture with food. And for women, we have to eat. We have to have grateful for food. And so when someone gives you a plate of food, you have to eat it. So there's a lot, just like Allah said, there's a lot that goes into what food means for us. And I think if we can just start, like, if you see somebody pregnant and somebody loaded them up with a plate of food, like, just help them. Take it away, or ask them to pack this for you, and then you can take it home and they can eat it later, or whatever it is. And there's different ways, but I'm glad you said that, Allah. How can we help support each other and protect each other? I know we only have a couple minutes left, I was wondering if we could just kind of close on that note of I'm going to ask you and then I'll ask Gabby, like, what are, like, how have you changed um, over the last 6 weeks as we've been talking so much about pregnancy?
Well, since really, I wish with all my heart, and I know my colleague Alinda agrees. I wish in my heart that I would be able to conceive another child, because going through the 6 weeks with the class, I've learned so much, and I envy the ladies that are in the classes because they are getting so much information that I didn't get when I was pregnant with my four. But I know there's a season for everybody, and there's a reason why we're here doing the outreach out to our communities with pregnant women. So I'm so glad that they get the information. But there is so much golden nuggets that I've learned from this pregnancy, and I will do my diligently to continue to learn, because I have daughters that I am counting on them to have some grandbabies, so soon, so that I can share the knowledge with them. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
I'm like so equipped. Like, I'm ready to be a grandma now. So one of my daughters better be ready to have a child pretty soon.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. But Tara, Dr. Tara, I thank you. Thank
No.
you for your heart, for all the women out there that are pregnant.
Mhm.
Giving them and helping them and guiding them. I've learned so much, and continue to do the work that you do, because little seeds that we're planting every week is going to produce a great garden,
Yeah.
and for that, I'm so grateful for.
Mhm.
Gabby, what about you?
Um, for me, it's eye-opening as somebody who hasn't had a kid or isn't going through pregnancy right now. Like, it makes me happy that I'm knowing this information, but I also think, what about the moms that have already just joined our class and they're maybe like 6 or 8 months along? Like, what can we do to make sure that they get this information? And like both of you said, it's about having that conversation, always bringing it up, and again, sticking up for our moms and sticking up for our women. And so I just want to say, like Ala, Tara, and even you, Ala, thank you so much for being a part of this team and just helping me learn more and growing. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I just need to thank both of you because, you're the ones that are out there finding people who are pregnant and bringing them in and bringing them resources, um, and filling the class. Like, I have so much fun working with you both, and I love that we can help people learn new things. Like, and being in person last week was so cool, and we got to like teach comfort measures and show like actual help. This week in class, I brought the babies, so we have all these little baby dolls. And my son, he looked in the diaper and he's like, "Mom, you can't be showing these babies. These are real babies." They're anatomically correct. And so we are gonna talk about how to take care of a baby, how to diaper a baby, dress them, hold them, swaddle them. We're gonna talk about breastfeeding. We're gonna talk about how to feed your baby, whether it's breast milk, human milk, cow's milk, formula. What does that all look like? What kind of bottles do we have? Um, how to maybe we can do how to wear a baby because I would love to talk about baby wearing too.
Yeah,
So
that'd
be
be really
excited.
cool.
There's a lot that we're gonna do at this next class.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited to do. This is the fun one, um, and then we're gonna start all over again.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. If you
Well,
missed
we have
it,
come to the ending of our program today, and I would
mhm.
like to thank each and every one of you out there watching this presentation, this talk story with Dr. Tara. And as you know, with Pacific Islander Health Board of Washington, we promote healthy measures
to anyone in our Pacific Islander community. Dr. Tara, any last word?
No, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for
See
letting
you
me be here.
tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks,
And then
Gabby.
Gabby, don't we have anything going on tomorrow that you wanted to let everybody know?
Yes. So for any families that are in the Auburn area or that are in King County, we have a community health fair going around tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. in Auburn, Washington at the Seventh Day Adventist Church. For more information, go on to our social media and yeah, but we hope to
And
see
then
you
if you
there.
wanted to join the class on
Mhm.
Thursday in person, you can contact our office at 253-235-5112
Mhm.
or contact Gabby on social media. We have a Facebook page, Pacific Islander Health Board of Washington. You can just Google it and find all of our information there.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, amazing ladies. You guys
You're
look
so
so
welcome.
beautiful. Happy Tuesday,
Happy
everyone.
Tuesday.
Hope you guys can come out tomorrow at our resource and health fair
Mhm.
in Auburn, Washington. Bring the family, bring everybody. But with our class, contact and let us know because we wanted to prepare a gift for you as you're coming to the class.
Yes.
Okay, everyone. Bye, Gabby. I'm going to give it back to Gabby to
Okay.
close us out.
All
Okay.
right. Sounds good. Um,
Okay.
all right. But I mean, Dr. Tara, is there anything that you want to promote?
No, thank you so much. We'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow and Thursday.
Tomorrow.
All
Bye.
right. Everyone, have a good
Bye.
day. Thank you.